Let's talk to Andrew Montford, Deputy Director of Net Zero Watch, because we've got a new look out there now. Not only are they trying to sort of bring darkness upon the land with this net zero plan of theirs, Andrew, they've now got a new fun title of Jet Zero. There's a Jet Zero Taskforce. It sounds like something from Thunderbirds. What's going on?
Heaven help us. Jet Zero is actually, it actually goes back to Boris Johnson. It's been around for a while. Yeah, the powers that be have had a good idea how how they're going to try to decarbonise the electricity system and cars and homes, but there are a lot of more difficult areas. This is the first time they've actually really got into one of the more difficult areas. So this is decarbonising air transport,
right?
And they only really have the vaguest idea how they're going to do it. What they've got to do essentially is to come up with zero carbon jet fuel, which means essentially they've got to make synthetic jet fuel,
right?
Which is incredibly expensive. So, I mean, what they're saying is that the airlines are going to have to start blending in this synthetic jet fuel, which I'm not even sure it actually exists yet.
Didn't
but it's
they
going
try
to put
this
up
kind
the
of
price of an air ticket?
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't they try this cobblers earlier in the summer or maybe in the spring, when I think it was Virgin who flew what they called biofuel jet-powered planes in New York. But then it turned out that actually it wasn't really biofuel, it was actually pretty much conventional fuel, but they tried to make a bit of a sort of, a green sort of, big deal about it. But it wasn't really much different from regular aviation fuel.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that story. I mean, the essence of it, what people need to know is that it's going to put up the price of flying. I mean, we have had the government essentially knackering the motor manufacturing industry, knackering the North Sea. Now they're going to have a go at knackering tourism, air transport, and all the rest of it. And, it really does bode very, very ill for the economy.
Yeah.
It's very worrying.
And this, of course, was launched by the Right Honourable Louise Haigh MP of this parish, who used to be the Transport Secretary, but who isn't anymore on account of being a convicted fraudster. I don't want to in any way combine the two items of news whatsoever, but that will now be taken over by Heidi Alexander, who's a bit of a cyclist, we understand.
Yeah, that's right. The thing is, I don't suppose they have many people in the Labour Party who are sort of hard-headed rationalists. They're all nutters of one way or another. Yeah. So this is going to go from bad to worse, I'm quite sure, and consumers will pay the price.
Yeah, I mean, it says here that they want to bring a sustainable aviation fuel mandate into law, with 22% of all jet fuel set to go green by 2040. I mean, that sounds a bit like the net zero campaign for 2030, or is it 35?
Yeah, well, as I say, at the moment there doesn't actually seem to be a supply of this zero carbon fuel. So essentially, they're putting a target in place and saying it's a mandate, and they're hoping that somebody is going to be able to come up with something. It's a really silly way of running policy, to cross your fingers and hope that somebody can invent something.
Yeah.
As somebody said about the whole net zero thing and sort of decarbonising the grid, before we've got a way of storing electricity, it's like jumping out of an aeroplane and hoping somebody invents a parachute on the way down. It's just a daft way of running the country, but that's the way our politicians are these days.
Well, it would also be slightly more convincing if they didn't spend so much time flying around the world on private jets. I mean, since becoming Prime Minister, Keir Starmer has been in astonishing 3 weeks in the air. That's just flying itself, never mind where he was going. And perhaps they shouldn't have thought about this while taking 470 people to Azerbaijan for COP29 the other week, all on planes.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost guarantee, can't you, if somebody is an enthusiast for net zero and for less flying, it usually means that they are a keen consumer of airline tickets themselves. Yeah. I mean, you can think back to all these people like Emma Thompson and Caroline Lucas,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, regular long-haul flyers. I mean, Caroline Lucas was didn't she say she's over to the States 3 times a year or something?
Yeah, to see her. She's got a son that lives there. Perfectly normal for her to go and visit her son. But don't tell us all not to fly.
Absolutely admirable. But let's have less chat about we need to fly less, because she ain't going to do it, is she?
No, exactly not. Quite right too. Very good to talk to you, Andrew Montford, there, Deputy Director at Net Zero Watts.